What is up, everybody? Back again for another awesome video, and today we're going to talk about a very spicy topic, which is validating your idea. It is extremely important you know how to validate your idea, or you're just going to be going down a money dump. So the first process is, how do we validate our business idea? The validation process is quite an interesting and intricate process, and the first way you can actually start by validating your idea. Get your notepads out. We're going to go through a journey today. So the first thing you do when you try to validate your idea is be very minimalistic. Alright, so what you can do, get out a simple Google form. Find out the things that people actually hate in what they're trying to do right now. You want to build an idea that is around, maybe you're trying to do Uber again, right? So find out what are the biggest issues people, your friends, family, or your potential customers are facing right now. Find out what is affecting them. Write down those concepts in your head. Go ahead and ask them how much they actually pay right now. Is it a paid process? The thing that you're trying to solve for, are people actually willing to fork out money for at this point in time? Or you can go ahead and find out if people are actually searching for these solutions by simply jumping on the internet and looking at Google Trends. Those things, when you put those concepted questions into your Google form and work out if people actually care for this enough to pay for it, if they're actually facing this problem, or if they're actually looking for this online, is something simple that you can just ask anyone in your marketplace or anyone in your friends and family group to work out if this is a problem they're facing. That's a very simple validation idea process. The second thing also encompasses what I just spoke about before, which is looking at your competitive marketplace and actually seeing if people are actually facing problems right now by just seeing complaints that people are making. Oh, this app is too slow. Why does this app actually let me do this? Why can't I also order X, Y, and Z? That's a great way for you to go ahead and work out if people actually care about it. A really cool idea, like I share to other people, is I'm sure when you've gone to like all these apps, especially Amazon, you end up seeing that when I bought something, someone else said, someone in a 50-mile radius also bought XYZ. So that's actually a really cool app idea someone came up with. And they came to realize that a lot of people, a lot of retailers like upselling products. And the concept of upselling actually comes from encouraging other customers by making them feel comfortable that other people are also doing similar purchase decisions to them in a nearby locality. So a simple idea like that, they launched, I think they exited, and they're doing really well for themselves. So that is a really easy way for you to validate your process and validate your idea. The second thing we want to talk about is, should you actually share your idea, right? Well, you built a Google form if you did before, but do you actually share your idea with other people? Because everyone gets very sensitive about this. My opinion, out of all the successful products we built, is 100% yes. You should tell everyone what you're trying to do. Unless, of course, if you're a big, large company and you're trying to do very secretive stuff, don't listen to me. Don't listen to a person on YouTube, right? But if not, I would definitely encourage you to share your concept and idea with other people, because you will get more inputted opinions on what might happen. Again, don't go for random people to give you opinions and ideas, but try share your idea and get some validated concepts out of it. Before we jump on to step 3, which is a really spicy point, I want to make sure you go ahead and actually get access to more information that we're sharing. So make sure you click on that like and subscribe button so you get notified when we get that new topics coming out. And before you go into the next set of questions, I want to make sure you are comfortable sharing your idea. You don't need to share everything that you're doing, but you need to overall let people know what the concept is, because the more people that are aware, the better it is for you to distribute, and the more people you can engage with. It can be as simple as just getting a landing page out and explaining what you're trying to solve. You don't need to tell them how you're solving it, but you can tell them the problem you're trying to solve. Well, if you stuck around for point number 3, it's a very controversial and spicy one, like I told you, which is, do not get feedback from your friends and family, which is the most contrarian thing that people tell you, because friends and family feedback is important. And the reason why I say that is because of 2 to 3 things. One, there's always a bias to make sure that your friends and family encourage you. 2 ways of bias. One, they're overtly negative because they're trying to be prohibitive of you, or they're overtly positive because they're trying to be supportive of you. But they're never quantitative in actually trying to help you validate your idea. And the second thing, when people say you need to get your personas, I think if you watch the previous video, check it out, you need to make sure that you get your personas right. I mean, who is your ideal customer? Now, there's 2 things that you need to be cautious of when you're trying to do the persona verification. Let's take Uber as an example. If we came up with the idea of press a button and a taxi comes up. Now, you are getting to a stranger's car. Now, if I go ahead and tell, for example, my dad, hey dad, press a button, get into stranger's car and they'll drop you, he most likely will tell me I have problems. So even though he's the right person in the sense that he's in business, he needs to go from place to place. Everything suits perfectly. He falls, in my opinion, under the later stage of market adoption, which is the late adopters. You need to be careful when you're trying to share your idea with people, and that you're talking to the early adopters and the technology innovators, because they will be more receptive to concepts versus people who are more reclusive to concepts. And people, oh, that doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't want to get in strangers' cars. But hey, Uber is a $60-something billion business. So make sure not only the persona matches, but the type of individual in the persona also matches your innovator spectrum, so that you're actually getting validation on ideas that matter, not something that is that might happen 4 or 5 years after you validate it. Great, so I have completely shat on all your ideas. So you might be asking me, how the hell do I validate my idea? Well, you do exactly what I told you in step 1 and 2, which is, it's simple. You find a problem, you know people actually care about the problem. The second thing you do is get a simple form or even a deadbeat website. Now, this thing about the website, you need to be careful, because everyone says that, right? Hey, get a website out, get some emails and validate it based on the website. But if the website is written in such a shitty way, where you can actually not even capture email addresses, so it's buggy as hell, it is going to invalidate an idea that actually might be perfect. So, simple process. You have a concept, get a Google form or any form app that's out there, work out what questions you need to ask about the pain points. Don't sell them on what might happen. You need to ask them what are the problems they're facing and what they're trying to do to solve their problems right now. Because the solution is up to you, not up to the customer. Get that. Go to Facebook groups, go to Twitter groups, go to Reddit forums, and make sure in that forum, when you're asking them, try understand the persona. Again, like I said, it's important that you get personas correct, because if you get personas of people who might be completely your anti-pattern, or people who are very reclusive or good ideas, you're not going to get good feedback. So then go to them. You need to collect maybe 20 to 30 feedback points, to be honest. You need to collect 100 or 200 in the validation phase. You just need to get the feel that, okay, people are actually facing this problem before you go down. And then once you've validated that segment with the form, transcend it onto a website. Build this very simple website, Instapages, landing page, Webflow. There's heaps of tools out there. Just build a simple page, but be very careful that you get your messaging right. And this is where that feedback that you got from your first Google form can be translated into your website. Use all the problems you say, like, are you someone who hates waiting for taxis? Are you someone who hates doing this? Are you someone who hates waiting and paying via your credit card and getting all these extra charges when you're going on a taxi? Well, we're the right product for you. Put in your email address and we'll be in touch with you with exactly what we're doing. See, you're trying to summarize and help people feel relatable that, oh wait, I'm the one who's actually facing these problems. Hell yeah, I care about these issues. Here's my email address, that's all I care about. That's a simple thing that you can do. And then the way you get people to your website, you don't need to do paid traffic or anything. There's a marketer guy right behind me trying to judge me on this. You just need to link that website to all your existing social forums, friends, family, Facebook, and again, mainly the people that you went and got the form to, like the form that you just gave to, that's the Google form that you ran through. Yeah, that's as simple as this. That is how you simply validate it. But again, the next few points are going to be very, very interesting, because I'm going to tell you exactly what I did and why something failed incredibly for me. Like I spoken before, I lost a lot of money, and why what we're doing right now is working a lot better. So like some of you might know, and if you don't, you should make it a duty to know. I ran 2 startups. One was called Ladder, which is a recruitment platform. And the other one that I'm running right now, which is I want to talk about a lot more, is Scenario. A Scenario with a C, right? So with the validation process for Ladder, we actually went very detailed. Now see, Ladder's validation process was not the problem. The validation process was actually fantastic in my opinion. It was more so on the execution side. What we did was we found it was a marketplace. So for there's hiring people and there was developers. We actually hired a research person, someone we were paying very basic amounts to, and all they did was went ahead and they ran 1-hour interviews, literally 1-hour interviews with all these hiring managers that I personally knew, and got feedback from them on all the problems, again, common concept problems that they were currently facing. Then we went and spoke to developers, and then we asked them problems that they were facing. And before we even did that, we went and looked at the entire plethora or the entire environment of all the problems everyone else was facing in the recruitment space. And we tried jotting them down and tried tackling them one by one. And that's exactly what we did with Ladder. And that validation process worked out really well because we worked out our initial set of features. Mistake was we worked at too many features that we shouldn't have actually done and actually executed on the key features that mattered. And this is again very important with your idea validation. Validating your idea is very different from validating your execution process, which is something you should also do. Your idea might be to go ahead and click a button, get a taxi, but you don't need to get bogged down into the million things that can go wrong in that. You just need to work out, okay, press a button, taxi comes. Quick application on one side, application on the other side, press button, notification, driver comes, picks me up, drops me. Don't worry about anything else. This is just the first version. It's a long process. There's going to be a lot of roller coasters. You will be happy, you will be sad, but you need to have a process behind this. Otherwise, you'll just get overwhelmed and things will die before they even start. The validation process we did for scenario is actually pretty cool as well. First thing we did was we worked out if people were facing these problems. I would look at all the groups and comment section of all our competitors and see what are the issues they were facing. And it would be the most common thing that we'd see, that people would hate complex finances. They would not know what finances even mean. They were trying to use an app to get rid of having to hire a CFO, but they'd have to learn accounting processes in the end anyway. So why do I even need to pay for this product? And we got that common idea that people face. We wrote down those bullet points. Again, I used a Google form and I sent it out to a heap of people. And the mistake I made with scenario that I fixed later on is to actually get the customer persona in the form itself. And while I got that information in, I put it into our little form sheet. Actually, I use a company called Paperform. Check them out. They're a Sydney-based company. We got all that information that we needed. We collected that data. We completely ignored people who told us they didn't care about the problem that much. So this is another thing you need to be careful about, is maybe put in a spectrum and ask them how painful of a problem it is for them. And whoever put that in a scale of 9 to 10, they're literally bleeding money right now because of this issue. Those are the people you need to focus on. So we had about 85 responses from a variety of groups, Facebook groups, Reddit, etc. And I think we literally ignored 40 of them. We literally got rid of half of them. We worked with only 45 people to work out what actually meant. And that was more than enough for us to actually validate the features and problems people were facing. So you need to be very focused when you're trying to do this validation cycle. Sweet. Wait on for the next one. All right, point number 6, and a nice little sprinkle for you of excitement. A way Pinterest actually validated their ideas or their website and distribution was one of the founders would actually go and ride to every Apple store in their state. And they would go into the Apple store pretending to buy a laptop, and they would go ahead and change the default website in, you know, the MacBook stores that you're waiting for when people are waiting around, and they would change it to be Pinterest. So when someone would go on Safari just to browse around on their laptop, on the stock MacBooks, they would actually go to Pinterest, and they would actually get people from that traffic to get them knowing, okay, what is this website, what's actually happening? And that is a great way for you to validate as well. If you want to do, I'm not encouraging you to go spam MacBook stores, but if you want, the genius people will have a great time dealing with you. But what ends up happening is if you do some guerrilla tactics like that, you end up working out if people actually even care about your product. And if you find out that is actually true, then that's another way for you to validate your own business. Another thing, like I said, the easiest validation process you can do is if you start talking to other people about your product and you see other people start getting excited about it, that is a great point of validation, because competition, my friend, is the easiest and one of the truest forms of validation you can get other than money. The magic point number 7. This is something I hold very dear to my heart. I've lost a lot of money trying to do this, and I've seen a lot of people lose money trying to do this, where before they even validate the idea, they're over there running 1,000 miles trying to get design and code and all these things done. Don't do it. Trust me, don't do this to yourself. You need to make sure you get this process tight and perfect before you actually go down and put a single dollar in design or development. You need to make sure that well before you even put a single line of code down, you need to ensure that you've got your business model in place. You need to know who your target audience looks like. You need to know what people are actually facing. Most startups, and I've seen a lot of these startups, they actually just build an MVP version of their product just using drag and drop tools. Like there's a product called Zapier, which helps you automate different pieces of your product ad. Use Zapier to simply just go ahead and work out how if I click on this, something happens and there's a reaction. And that's all you want your customers to face. An example a friend of mine shared, and I really like sharing with, is let's say you want to build an application where you want to help people skip queues. So you see a big queue somewhere, you can go to them and say, hey, I will stand in line for you over here. All you need to do is pay me $5. right? So you can literally wear a phone costume with a button and then go to them and say, press this button, give me $5 and I will message you as soon as your line comes up, when your time comes. So the customer experience in that flow is they've given you money, they press the button, and then when their time comes, they give you or you give them a call, and then they show up there. That's the exact same thing you'd technically be doing when you had an application, except you paid $0 for it, right? So you need to do a lot of manual work to validate your idea before you even go ahead and write a single line of code. And be careful, because this is an important part of doing your entire strategy flow. So just so that we go over what we've spoken about, make sure you validate your idea. Do not talk to your friends and family about trying to validate what you're trying to do. It is okay to talk openly about what you're trying to build. No one's gonna steal it, trust me. No one cares about it as much as you do. And also make sure you do this entire process we spoke about before you write a single line of code. That's all for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you like and subscribe, because trust me, the next one is gonna be piping hot. Take care.